Welcome back to No Cap SEC. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. I'm here with my guests, SEC Mo and Brinsky Sharp from the Sharp Shooters podcast. And if you love college football in the SEC, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of No Cap SEC. Gentlemen, how we doing tonight?
What's up, fellas?
My brother, what's going on? What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I'm ready to get into some of this no cap SEC.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ain't no capping when we get in here. Ain't no capping.
Absolutely.
Hey, welcome in to everybody. Alan Woody, Hankster, Adela's here. Hey, what's up? Good to see everybody in here. Going to talk a little bit tonight about if the CFP, no sooner did they get their new format 5-7, then all of a sudden we're talking about 14 teams in the playoff already. I think it's fair to understand what it's about, money and everything else, but to be honest with you, there's got to be something more to that. Want to talk a little bit about that. Definitely want to get, since we got Brinsky in here from Sharp Shooters, Alabama guy, we want to talk about the state of the Roll Tide program going into their first season under Kalen DeBoer as well. We might get into a few other things, but hey, thank you very much for that. We've been working on that. We knew it was coming. We figured it might be 16, but I don't understand the whole 14 thing. I think there's a couple of things that you might end up seeing, but hey, we'll see kind of how that all goes. Everybody, please make sure you hit that like button on your way in. Share the stream with a friend. Everybody's information is in the description. If you're not already a subscriber to these two channels, make sure you jump in there for SEC Mo's channel, also for the Sharp Shooters podcast. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts about, first off, let's talk about the 5-7. It was, of course, a 6-6 model where you had 6 conference champions, the Power 5 plus a group of 5, and then 6 at-large bids. Now, obviously, when the Pac-12 folded last year, that caused everybody to have to shuffle, and you were going to either have 2 G5s or you were going to have to make a move on that. They did make that 7 at-large bids. You will now have the Power 4 conference, or the Autonomous 4, whatever you want to call them, plus a group of 5, whatever the highest ranked group of 5 conference champion is. They will all get in on automatic bids. Does that sound right to you guys?
Yeah, for the most part.
What are you guys' thoughts about that? What was your thinking there?
Sharpshooter, you want to go?
Oh, you can go ahead.
Well, man, I mean, my initial thoughts on it was, I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense right now, especially because during the 4-team playoff, there was always a push to get a group of 5 team in, kind of like the Tulane situation, the TCU situation. Well, not TCU, but the Tulane situation. I think that this will give a huge opportunity for the group of 5 to show and prove, man. I mean, what do y'all have? What are y'all really bringing to the table in a 12-team playoff? Can you really cut the mustard? Or do we just need to push you guys further outside of the automatic qualifier and let you play yourself in outside of that top 5? Yeah. But I think they got it right so far, man. I'm interested to see how it plays out during the season.
And Brinsky, do you have a feeling that maybe they're trying to go ahead and push them out though with this 14 as well? Because it feels like I have a feeling that we might be seeing something else, where that maybe this is a play-in type of thing or something like that. But it seems to me like you certainly don't want to give them one of the buys unless it's the way that they put it is going to be the highest ranked 4 conference champions will get a first round bye in the 12 team. But my thought is, if there's talking about a 14 already, are they possibly thinking about maybe having them be a play-in game for that 13 and 14 seed or whatever they're playing in for that last seed for the regular bracket or something like that? Do you think that's something that could be going on?
It could be, because I thought it was I thought it was 4 at first, and then they changed it to the first the top 5 get about. I don't know, or something like that. I don't know how they changed it up. But if they doing it like that, they could like a Tulane in them. I don't expect them to go far in the playoffs because
they're gonna get rocked.
Oh yeah. Unless you're going
No.
against a team like USC that they beat in that sugar mode, but you ain't gonna come across nothing like that. Now, I do expect some type of upsets. It's gonna be like, I don't expect nothing like March Madness, and you expecting a lot of upsets or whatnot. Right. But you probably get one year where somebody may make it past the first round, maybe even the second round, make it to the semifinals. But I don't expect them to go that far. It all depends how hot you are at the end of the year.
Yep.
It feels like it'd have to be one of those things where you're going to do it early, because when the SEC and the Big Ten start paying out, the rich are going to get richer. This idea that this has brought more people into the fold, given more people an opportunity to win a national championship, I think it's silly talk. Because of the fact that right now, what do you think? There's probably 6-8 teams at the most that could win. I mean, last year there was probably 2 or 3, 4 teams that were really contending for it, right? Maybe 5 or 6 at the most, but I honestly believe it was more like 4. But but that's an anomaly. Even more times than not, who's going to win the thing when they get there, right?
I mean, for the most part, you got your typical powerhouses, Georgias, the Alabamas, the Michigans, the Ohio States. I mean, we all know, based on their recruiting, based on what the momentum they have coming in after last season, even with the coaching changes, you can still expect those guys or those teams to be in the top 5. You know what I mean? What I'm interested to see is how many SEC teams are going to be selected for the 12-team playoff based on the records that we predicted they would have for next season. Because we got some 10-3. I mean, we got some 10 wins, we got some 9 wins, we got some 8-win SEC teams. But how many of those teams can we say that are gonna be worse than a group of 5, a group of 5 champion? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, man. I'm just excited to see how it all pans out, bro. Especially because they're already talking about a 14 team, and they're going to top it out at 16. I don't think that they're going to go past 16, but I think that they're trying to see if they can really get other teams in the group of 5 into a 12-team playoff to see if it'll work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brinsky. Jump in.
I'm not too much of a fan of this whole expansion, but we already know that it's for money. But hey, you gotta go with the times or be left behind. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I believe this year, especially with the expectations on a lot of SEC teams, I know Georgia's going to be there. Ole Miss better be there with all the transfers that they got.
They better.
That's why I said better. It ain't no they should be there. They better be there. Texas.
He fixed my camera, man.
Go ahead.
Texas. Possibly we can probably be more than likely. I expect us to be in there because of how the schedule.
Now, by us, make sure you let everybody know who us is there, Brinsky.
Oh, Alabama. My fault. Alabama, it's my fault. I expect Alabama to be there. But we got some crucial games because you can make the playoffs with 3 losses. Because once you get to them championship weekend, them games don't mean as much anymore.
Okay, so here's where I'm at on that. My question is this, and we'll get into some of these win totals, that how we were picking them, and we can kind of talk about where everybody else is at throughout the country. But when you start looking at this right now, you're talking about a situation where the Big 12 had got weaker this year, and I don't care that they brought in Utah. I don't care that they brought in Arizona. I don't care about that. Okay, I understand that they got a larger conference, and I'm not trying to bash on the Big 12 right here. What I'm going to tell you is who's going to get left out, or who's you automatically the possibility is more than likely, I would think, that the Big 12 champions probably going to have a couple of losses.
Yeah,
because I think that there's a lot of parity in that conference, right? We know the same is true in the ACC. You had Florida State that went undefeated last year, but by the skin of their teeth. The truth of it is, I think that Clemson's going to be better this year. Florida State and Miami should be. I mean, they've been recruiting in the top 5 for the last couple of years. If Cristobal is worth his salt at all, then they should be in the mix, right? So I think both of these conferences, you could end up with a 2-loss champion coming out of their championship game. Now you've got even the runner-up at the SEC isn't going to get a bye, right? They're not going to get a bye, but they would beat the hell out of the champion coming out of the Big 12 or the ACC. Yeah. We know this. In fact, the 3rd and 4th teams in the SEC will probably beat the brakes off of the freaking Big 12 champion.
Who do you think the 3rd best team in the SEC is going to be this season, Jason?
Well,
I think I already know the answer to that question.
There's a few. Well, I don't know about the 3rd best team. We're going to find out. What I would tell you is, what I would tell you is that I believe that there's an opportunity for. I think there's an opportunity for a few teams. I think it's a real toss-up. I'm not crazy. Georgia is the team to beat, right? They're the team to beat. There's no two ways around that. I also believe that Ole Miss ought to be in it, but I don't trust Lane Kiffin to win. I don't.
You really don't, man. I don't think anybody does because he hasn't done it yet.
The last big game he's won. I
was about to say, man, I think Lane Kiffin has a knack for winning games, but not big games. I think that he has had enough talent on his teams to really compete. I think that his Achilles heel is on the defensive side of the ball. They always had defensive pieces, but they've never had a cohesive unit that's just been shut down. That's just shut everybody down. He's just a point scorer, man. I don't think that that's going to win. That mentality of just outscoring your opponents is not going to win you a championship these days.
No, and I mean, they got some guys out of the portal from Texas A&M and some other places. I mean, we know how heavy they were in the portal. Well, the other thing that we know is that big-time portal has not equated to a national championship yet.
Yep.
Yeah, because I know they got Trey Amos from us, and he played DB, and he played awesome against Georgia, against Brock Bowers, really shut him down. But the problem with Ole Miss, like Mo said, is that defense. And I do not trust a defensive coordinator who is out. Is Alabama's old coordinator.
3rd and Goldie?
Oh, man. Oh, terrible, man. I'm talking about he terrible, Chuck. He terrible. Man.
He's terrible.
I mean, oh, my God, man. You have it. It only shows, like, when we had Will Anderson, Brian Branch, and them boys, and you see what they're doing in the NFL, and it's like, no, man, he had all that talent. He couldn't do this. And he just giving up points, man. It's his scheme.
Yeah.
Well, but and Ole Miss isn't even the only one. I mean, you got to take a look at this whole deal. Let me go ahead and share this screen real quick. But hold on. All right. Welcome in, Bishop Frank. Good to see you. All right. So as you can see here, we had, let me fix this just a little bit. All right. So when we did our totals, we had Alabama, of course. This is the FanDuel number was at 9.5. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like they could stumble here. I don't think they go under 9, But I could see them not winning 10 this year, first year out of the box, and if they end up with a different quarterback. I know you're going to argue with that. I understand that. I also think that 9 should probably get you in the playoff, depending on what else happens in the league. Now, obviously, Georgia at 10.5, we both got them going over it. Me and Mo did. LSU, the 9.5. You have I've got them under that too. I'm not sure what I believe out of them. I don't think that Texas is, even though Texas has the easiest schedule of anybody in the conference, and for whatever reason that is, I think that they also have a lot of pieces in that portal that's going to kind of mess with them. And you could lose that game at the big house early in the season. That's week 2. You've got back-to-back games with Oklahoma and Georgia, and then you finish off the season with a Texas A&M team that's going to want to beat their ass, and if they still have a quarterback around, and look, I wouldn't tell you that I think that Sark's a whole lot better than Mike Elko as a coach.
You think so?
Listen, Mike Elko went and won with Duke. You know what I mean? Look, I'm not saying that I think A&M is going to be great, because I don't.
But the ACC ain't like how it used to be either.
I'm aware of that. No. But I also will tell you that I'm going to say this one more time for the cheap seats. Sark has won 10 games once. He has been the head coach at USC, Washington, and now Texas. 10 full seasons. He's got 1 10-win season. Don't tell me how great this guy is until he continues to show that.
He's got 1 12-win season too.
Fine. You know what? Every one of their pass catchers that they needed, they're all gone. Jatavion Sanders, Xavier Worthy, Jordan Whittington, A.D. Mitchell, they're gone. Brooks is gone. Their running backs are coming back. They got 4 of their 5 offensive linemen coming back. But here's the thing. When have we seen a receiver room gel that quickly?
I think that's more so on the quarterback and the time that he spends with his receivers.
Fine. What else though? They lost their entire defensive line and their defensive line coach too. This is not a complete football team that everybody's acting like it is, because it is just not. Now, the schedule says they should win 10 again. And they should. If they don't, to me, it's a failure. And I'm going to say that again. I believe that that's a failure on the part of Texas if they don't get to the playoff. If they're not playing for the SEC championship game, it's a failure on their part. They've stumbled along the way. Something's gone on, but it's not a good look, right? In the end, I'm going to say, even if they win 10 games, that's still under the 10.5 that FanDuel had it, and that's bringing other people in it. So even if you had, look, let's say all these teams ended up with 9, or maybe let's say LSU ends up with 8 wins. I don't know what's going to happen with them. They could win 9. I think that Brian Kelly's still one of the better coaches. Now, we don't really have to think too much about Auburn, but then you also have Ole Miss, Tennessee, Mizzou. Look, they've got them at 9.5 for Ole Miss, 8.5 for Tennessee. A lot of people believe that Nico Iamaleava is going to be the dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they have a tough schedule too. They've got to play pretty much. Well, they play Oklahoma first game of the SEC season in Norman. They do have Alabama. I believe they've got LSU as well. We can pull that schedule up here in a second, but it's a tough go of it. But I like Josh Heupel, and I think that they are going to bounce back. And they were really good on defense. That's something we hadn't seen a lot from air raid guys, But the all 3 of these teams right here are another possibility for 9 wins, right?
Yeah.
So now you've got about 6 or 7 9-win possibilities, right? If we looked at Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and if you put LSU, that's 7, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you, Mizzou is not going to be the one. They're going to win.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think that they're going. Yeah, I don't think they're going over 9 games this season. But I'm just looking at the end of season rankings for last season, man. Michigan was, of course, 15-0. Then you got Washington. I don't think Washington's going to play a factor. It looks like all 12 teams as it stands right now, no team inside the top 12 last season had more than 4 losses. Everybody was 10-3. We got 15-0, 14-1, 12-2, 13-1, 11-2, and 10-3.
Yeah.
That's the record for every single team in the top 12. Now, keep in mind, teams that ended the season in the top 12 won't be the same way. I don't think Arizona's going to make the top 12 personally. I surely don't think Washington's going to make the top 12. Michigan might.
Let's stick to the SEC right now, because we gotta look, because I think that just right here we're looking at now. You got Oklahoma. Now, I think this is the stupidest number I've ever seen. We've talked about this a lot over the last couple of weeks. 7.5 is silly talk. None of those teams that they're playing on the road have more talent than Oklahoma has brought in. They just don't. And I believe that they're coached better there too. So look, we're gonna find. I think if Jackson Arnold has the type of season that you're hoping that he has as a Sooner, I've been saying 9-3 for a while now. If it goes really well and their defense, look, they've got more production coming back defensively than any team in the conference. They're top 10 in the country with defensive talent coming back. Plus, they added David Stone and Nigel Smith and Danny Okoye and Jaden Jackson, all these guys up front, which is what you needed the most. They already dominated Texas on the defensive line and the offensive line in the last season's Red River game. So I believe that Oklahoma is in the mix for this thing. They've got some tough games. They've got Alabama at home. That's a good news for Oklahoma. If you're Oklahoma, you don't want to have to play them in Tuscaloosa. But I could see them going 9-3, maybe somehow getting to 10-2, and we'll see what happens. So obviously you're not going to get 7 or 8 teams that are going to win 9 or more. Okay. But you could get 4 or 5.
I was about to say, let's keep it in the SEC then. Yeah. So at the end of last season, you had Texas at number 3. Yep. You had Georgia at number 4. You had Alabama at number 5. So that's 3 already. Yep. Then you had Missouri at number 8. Then you had Ole Miss at number 9. That's 5. And then the 6th team in the top 12 is LSU.
That's right.
So you already got half of the 12-team playoff occupied by SEC teams.
And Oklahoma was at number 12 or 13 in all the polls too. After the bowl games, they dropped.
Yeah, OU was at number 15. They ended the season at number 15 at 10-3.
Once the bowl games were over with, but when it got time for the playoff, they were sitting at 12. They ended up missing it because of that G5 deal. Because Liberty ended up taking that spot and playing Oregon. Yeah. But yeah, so there's already 6 or 7. Okay, they're not going to get 6 or 7 in, even with the extra deal there. What I'm going to tell you is okay, let's say you got a 9-3. And you can take Mizzou out of that. They're not getting in.
Yeah.
I'm probably saying LSU or Ole Miss. One of those two is going to blow it too. Look.
Well, LSU lost a lot. LSU, I don't expect to be nowhere near it because they losing too. They losing Jaden Daniels. They losing
That's what I was about to say. We don't even know what a post LSU offense, post Jaden Daniels LSU offense is going to look like. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He was the engine that made that offense go. Without Jaden Daniels, man, you really just don't know what you're gonna have at LSU.
They probably would have won 5 games.
Bazoo, Auburn beats Oklahoma at home, kind of like they did in New Mexico State. Is that what you're saying?
Man,
y'all gonna learn.
Sleeping on Hugh Freeze, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say you sleeping on Hugh Freeze, but I will say it's somebody that rabbit's foot in Jordan Hill, man. You just don't understand, man. It just the ball just goes certain ways that game, Paul.
Except for when New Mexico State showed up.
Hey, man, now when it's those type teams, that's when they just lay down. Hey, trust me, I'm not trying to defend Auburn. I'm glad they're getting beat down.
I'm just telling you that. Look, I'm not saying it's a guaranteed loss or a guaranteed win. I'm telling you that I can see a number of teams that you can lose to during the SEC, your first year in the SEC. And a lot of it's going to depend on how good is this defense, number 1, and number 2, how good is Jackson Arnold. But yeah, and Des, Yes, they dominated the trenches. Both sides of it. They stopped you on the goal line 4 plays in a row. I mean, they gave up everything passing wise, but they sacked Quinn 5 times against that dominant quote unquote offensive line. And what did your guys do in that big defense? I'm telling you, on the defensive line guys that are all gone now, they didn't really get much on Dylan. So look, I'm just saying when it comes to, you know, the toughness aspect of it and who plays, you know, with that attitude, everybody talks about how much Texas went in and just roughed up Alabama, but you got roughed up in the trenches too. I'm not saying that Oklahoma is definitely going to make it in. I'm saying that they are in the mix just as much as anybody else is. That's it.
Okay. I mean, that's not what FanDuel thinks.
I don't care what FanDuel thinks.
I know, man. I'm just messing with you, bro.
I don't care what FanDuel thinks. But in the end, all I'm saying is, and maybe it's not this year. We're going to find out. But I'm going to tell you this. Yeah. There's going to be probably 5 schools that are going to be at 9 wins or better. Right? When you've got, you know, even if you take out LSU, Mizzou, maybe Ole Miss, I have a hard time penciling Ole Miss to 10 wins or more this year just because they brought all these guys in because of the fact that they still haven't won a big game. They have to play Georgia again. They've got to play Oklahoma. They get them at home, but they've got Georgia and Oklahoma. They obviously, let's see. Who else are they? They've got a tough schedule too. I think everybody that OU's playing is who Mizzou's or Ole Miss is playing too. Mizzou, they've got an easy schedule, but they lost their whole defensive staff to LSU, right? And I just don't buy Drink, man. Somehow they get by.
Yeah, I think Drinkowitz has a lot more to prove, man. If he has anywhere between 8 and 9 wins this season, it's going to be a successful season for him, in my opinion. I just don't think that they're going to reach the heights that they reached this past year. I think that this was just a perfect storm for Missouri this year. Everybody's always
been 10 damn years since they won 10 games, Mo.
I mean, since what was that defensive end's name that came out the closet, man?
Michael Sam.
Michael Sam. Yeah. I mean, that was a solid Missouri team. But
they play in the SEC championship game.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that was when the East was trash. They hit it at the right time, bro. Come on.
Well, let me look at Ole Miss's schedule, bro, so I can actually see.
But I know one thing for sure that I see on here that y'all both got wrong for the under. If I was a betting man, now go back to Vandy. Bet the house on Vandy. They getting 3 wins. They're
gonna get 3. Think so?
They gonna, after looking at their schedule, they can get 3. That's it.
Well,
man.
Yeah,
they can beat Alcorn.
When they're out of conference games, which they should.
That is it. They're gonna beat Alcorn. They're gonna beat Ball State. And they're gonna beat now Georgia State is gonna be probably that one it can go either way, but that's gonna be the one right there to get them over.
Listen, man, I'm looking at Ole Miss's schedule right now. They're gonna beat Furman. That's number 1. Number 2, they're gonna beat Middle Tennessee. Number 3, they're gonna beat Wake Forest. Number 4, they're gonna beat Georgia Southern.
Oh,
no, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Number 5, their first SEC game is against Kentucky, and I got them winning that game.
What about Brock Vandegrift, man? Is he going to do anything? I mean, Kentucky could be a wild card in here to mess up somebody's shit.
Listen, man, they don't have enough defensive stopping power to stop Ole Miss's offense, period, in Kentucky. That's not going to happen, bro.
It's not a huge game, so I would agree with you there.
Where they playing?
They are playing in Oxford.
Yeah, no, that's a blowout.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Then you got South Carolina, and that's in South Carolina. That's at William Bryce.
I'm still giving them a W.
That's gonna be a dub. That's 1, 2, 3.
That's 6.
4, 5, 6. That's 6. Now, this is where it gets real. They got LSU on Saturday, October the 12th in Baton Rouge. That's gonna be a night game because you're gonna have an undefeated Ole Miss going into Baton Rouge. That's a night game.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's gonna be their first loss.
Okay.
That's a big possible. I don't know. You said the only thing about that game, if you told me Jaden Daniels and Neighbors gonna be in that game, I'd be like, yes.
That'd be a different
story.
But
I just don't know.
We don't know what LSU is gonna have, other than the fact that just like Jordan Hare, bro, it's tough to play in Death Valley at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
That's true.
That's
I definitely think
75% of their home games since they opened that joint.
Yeah,
and then
I think. Go ahead, Brisky.
Oh, my fault. I was saying I don't expect their defense to be as bad as it was last year, because that was a historically bad defense. I know they got Harold Perkins. Harold Perkins was probably the only one. The worst game I probably ever seen by them was the Florida game defensive wise this year. And I was just like, oh my God, they cannot stop the run to save their life.
They didn't stop any. For them to win 9 games and win 10 overall was a testament to how damn good Jaden Daniels was.
Yep.
And that's why I don't understand why it was even a dispute why he won the Heisman.
Yeah,
I love Michael Penix. I love Michael Penix.
Yeah.
But man, Jaden Daniels had to wheel that team and it almost beat us.
He had an all-time freaking season, man. We don't have to talk about all that. But look, they like their quarterback situation there. Now they lost their, Denbrock ended up going to Notre Dame, which is kind of wild, but they ended up going and getting a defensive coordinator and most of his staff from Mizzou, which I think, as much as everybody loves, and they have a great offense in Columbia, but you got to play defense, and they've got some defensive pieces, but who's to say? You know, if you fall back just a little bit, you're looking at losses. So look on there at Mizzou. What is they're at Alabama, aren't they?
Hold on, let me double check real quick.
But anyway, in the end, what I'm gonna say is I believe that Mizzou isn't gonna get there. If they do, I'll be surprised. I know Oklahoma's gonna whip their ass because there's been too much trash talking coming out of that joint for a long time now, and Oklahoma does not care about Missouri.
I can't wait to see it too.
I can't either, bro. But let's just keep going with this Ole Miss scenario before I go to take a look at.
Go ahead.
Go. Yeah.
We got Ole Miss sitting at 6-1.
Okay.
Going into a bye week.
Okay.
Then after the bye week, they got OU. They got your boys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, keep in mind, this is going to potentially be an Ole Miss team coming off of a bye week, playing at home against OU. What do you think? What do you think Oklahoma's odds are in that game, Jason?
Well, they're coming off of a bye week. I want to look real quick. I'm going to pull this schedule up myself real quick.
I can share my screen if you want me to.
Well, we've already got that other thing up there. I'm just going to look at it just for the sake of doing it here. But look, I mean, what do I expect from it? I expect that, it's going to be a hell of a game. That's one of the games I'm saying that Oklahoma could lose. Again, I would tell you that they've got at least the same amount of talent, right? If not more. Look, it could be one of and they don't really lose at home much either, but Oklahoma coming into that game, they've got South Carolina the week before at home. So, I mean, look, I don't think that you want to look ahead, but I think that, it's not like they're going to have to overexert themselves to beat South Carolina, I don't think, particularly at home. There's another guy that doesn't seem to win the big games unless it's, they got Clemson, but how good was Clemson really? And how good was Tennessee whenever, the Tennessee win was big. But I'm not a big Beamer guy. I'm not a big Beamer guy. Listen, that could be one of their losses. It also I could see them winning it. But, I mean, just looking at the whole deal, I mean, shoot. After that, okay, let's go after that. Ole Miss, who do they got after that? Let's go.
Arkansas.
Okay,
Ole Miss has Arkansas after OU.
Yeah,
That's a dub.
Then they play Georgia.
Yep. Then they play Georgia. That's their second loss, in my opinion. So at
Then
this point, they're
on the
6-2.
road
I mean,
at
they're
Florida.
8-2.
The Swamp ain't no easy place to win, no matter what.
Oh man, they're gonna dominate them.
Man,
I don't know about that. Hey,
they're gonna dominate.
come on,
them.
man.
The
They won't
Swamp
even
ain't-
have Florida won't
Swamp-
even have a head coach at that point, man.
20 freaking plus years. Tennessee
Oh,
hadn't won a damn game
bro.
there.
Bro. Florida won't even have a head coach at the end of the season. On November 23rd, Florida will be on a coaching search.
Look, we're gonna see.
I'm glad you said
I don't
that,
think
man.
Florida's probably as bad as everybody else thinks they are. I think that their schedule is brutal, but it could be completely out of hand by then. But still, it's not, I mean, you coming off, you could be reeling at that point. If Ole Miss loses to Oklahoma, and then they turn around and get beat by Georgia, which you know they're gonna. Then what do they got left in the tank, right? That's what 3 losses already, because you're saying they're going to lose at LSU.
No, I have them at 2. I have them losing to LSU and you losing to Georgia. I don't think they're going to lose to Oklahoma.
Okay,
Not
but
at-
I'm
not at
saying
home.
if they were
And
to,
coming off a bye
if
week.
they were to lose the Oklahoma game too, they've already got 2 losses going into the Georgia game. They could be, I mean, they're going to be backpedaling at that point. We don't know.
If they lose to Oklahoma, I'm giving them the LSU game. I can't just say they're gonna.
That's why I said I don't believe they're gonna lose LSU.
Why would you say that though, when he hasn't won a big game yet? Why are you so sure about it?
I'm saying that because I just don't see Oklahoma beating Ole Miss in Oxford. I just don't. I just can't see it, man. I just can't see it. But I'll give it the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not saying you have to give it to Oklahoma. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be so sure about anything when he's never won a big game.
I'm calling it right now. He's gonna beat Georgia.
Huh?
You think so?
Who beats Georgia?
That Ole Miss.
That's a hot take.
That gonna be the one.
That's a hot take, Brisky.
Paul Feinbaum may lose his mind that day.
Say that again.
You quoted me. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin will beat the Georgia Bulldog when they come into town.
They got him at home.
And it will be a night game in Ole Miss, and they will win.
I like that. I like that confidence, Brinsky.
I expect
that.
They return all their receivers. Yeah, I would have had even more confidence if they returned Quishon Judkins, but they're gonna have
Is Bentley still there?
Mm-hmm.
I like Bentley better than I like Quishon Judkins, to be honest with you. But that's just my personal preference.
Yeah, you still got Dart, and then you got even though Trey Amos left us, man, I still love Trey. I expect Trey to have a big game in that game. You still got Walter Nolan. You got a lot of guys on that defensive end.
You do.
And
they brought in defensive linemen from Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. Then they brought that guy from I can't even. Oh well,
they stole when Arkansas starting linebackers, Pooh Paul.
Mm-hmm.
It was our leading tackler.
So I expect them to be way more physical than they was when they went to Athens.
Yeah.
But the only way they lose this game, the only way I say they lose this game, it will be because of Pete Golden. If they lose this game, it's going to be because of Pete Golden.
Gentlemen, they got beat 52-17 by Georgia last year. Georgia got. You really think they're that much better? 52-17, bro.
They got better on the side that they needed to get better on, but the problem is that the only way I see them losing
take with 3rd and Golding running that defense.
and that's why I'm more confident in Lane than I am in Pete Golden.
Oh shit! Confident in Lane that ain't ever won a big game yet.
And I say, hey, the light shines on the dog ass sometimes, and they gotta shine.
Listen, I am a fan of Lane. I think that college football is better with Lane Kiffin in it as a head coach, trolling the shit out of everybody, but they're gonna get their ass kicked there. I'm sorry. That's
Brisky, you said that you don't think they'll lose to LSU, right?
I don't think so.
You got these boys going undefeated at the end of the regular season because they don't have another L on their schedule.
Yeah, where do you have them at the end of the year? If 9.5 was their what FanDuel has them at, I think Vegas has them at 9.
No. I think they can lose to OU.
Okay.
I think they can. It all depends on how Jackson Dart play.
They'll be 11-1 then.
Matter of fact, I take that back with the LSU.
No, I'm sorry, not 11-1. But what was it? 9-1.
Because those games that could be a hiccup game for them. I believe.
Which one?
LSU.
Okay.
LSU. It could be a hiccup. It could be a hiccup game.
So if they lose those, I'm telling you, if they lose those 2 games, you're going to watch them fall right down the drain. But anyway, here we are. Yeah. And here's the thing is, Orca, this is good. Ain't sold on the portal till it actually works. This is what I'm talking about. It's the same thing I feel about Texas. We don't know. Well, I know they got good pieces coming from Alabama. Nye Black, the top receiver, what's his name? Bond.
Isaiah.
Yeah. They got good guys coming in, but they have to still mesh with Quinn Ewers, and then that defense is going to have to do its thing, right? You're going to have to get some contributions from guys that you really haven't gotten them from Texas. Same thing goes with Ole Miss. We haven't seen them do this yet. Until they do, I have a hard time believing they're going to hit that over on that one. Maybe they do, but I don't know, man. I have a hard time buying it. That being said, particularly against when they got to play, Georgia beat them 52-17 last year. It's not, they ain't going to beat Georgia. You crazy.
Hey, man, I'm looking at this OU. I'm looking at this OU schedule, man. Y'all ain't got it too tough either from what I'm looking at, man. Let's go over this OU schedule.
Ain't got it too tough?
Nah, man, it's not too bad from what I'm looking at.
Road games against teams that won 11 games or 12. Listen, Ole Miss is one of them. Missouri be the other one. They're gonna beat Missouri. I already guarantee you.
They're gonna beat Missouri.
They're gonna beat Missouri. Mizzou. But then you've got Tennessee at home. That's not an easy one. Tennessee at home. That's going to be a good matchup between the two young quarterbacks right there. We're going to find out a little bit about both of those teams first weekend. Then you're going to find out a little bit of something about them when they go to Jordan-Hare. I still believe they're going to win that game, but I understand where you're at on that, Brinsky. Your objection has been noted. I'm never going to tell you that they're not beating Texas. They're beating South Carolina. Ole Miss, I think they have a good opportunity there. I told you they're already beating Mizzou. I think if you're going to beat Alabama, this is the time to do it. You get them at home. You get them in their first year without Nick Saban. Look, that's why I'm picking 9-3. I can see losses there. I don't see them losing any of these games that I could see them losing. I don't see them losing all of them. So they're going to be in the mix. Where I was at with all this, and we need to kind of pull this back to where we were. What if you get 4 of these teams that are at 9 or 10 wins, and then you've got a Big 12 champion that has 2 losses, and you have an ACC champion that has 2 losses? Who's going to get left out? You're going to end up getting somebody left out. Mm-hmm. And should they? Because damn good and well that ACC or Big 12 champion ain't going to touch the number 3 or 4 team in the SEC if it works out the way we're talking. This is where I'm worried about this whole deal. And where are they going to, look, I think that they're too worried about keeping the G5 happy. I believe that if they're going to do anything, man, if you're going to bump it to 14, make it to where that's where that G5 is going to have to play their way into it. They got to beat they got to beat that last team from the A4, Autonomous 4, Power 4, whatever you want to call it.
I agree.
to get in.
Mhm.
I think that you need to see them do that because I don't think that's going to happen either. I think they're going to get the hell beat out. And the truth is, I would love to see a G5 tournament. Let's have a playoff for them. I'll watch it. I'll watch the shit out of it. If it's really all about money, then I think that's where that's headed. I really do think that's where that's headed. But this idea that these other conferences are going to be able to keep up with the SEC and the Big Ten 2-3 years down the line when they're making $50 million more than every team in those other conferences is insane to me. There's no way that shit happens.
Man, I got OU at 6-4.
Go ahead, folks. Go ahead and get him.
Controversy.
I got him at 6-4.
At the real SEC mode on Twitter, and you could get him right here.
Y'all are out of there, bro. OU is out of there.
Brand has finally returned. Your brand.
All right. So y'all got a dub at Temple. Y'all are beating Temple.
Uh-huh.
Y'all are gonna beat Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are gonna beat Tulane. Y'all are gonna beat.
Hold on. Tulane can be a sneak.
Willie Fritz is now at Houston.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, never mind. Take that back.
Y'all are gonna beat Tennessee. Y'all are gonna beat.
Where they playing?
That's 4-0. So you're telling me they're gonna win 2 more games after going 4-0?
3, 4, 5.
No, where they playing Tennessee?
At home.
Yeah, they're playing at home.
Okay.
Their first 4 games are at home. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Get them, folks. Get them.
No, I got no. Go keep going down the line.
Yeah, keep going.
Maybe I'm counting too many games right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I'm sorry. So we got 12. I'm sorry. I got them 6-6.
Keep going. They're 4-0
All
right
right.
now.
You're gonna tell us who they're losing to. You're not getting away with that shit.
All right. So they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose to. No, I'm sorry, not 6-6, but 8-4. Yeah, 8-4. I got them at 8-4.
Oh, keep going. They 4-0 right now.
All right. So then they got.
Who is that guy?
Auburn. They got Auburn. I think that they're gonna beat Auburn. That's at Jordan Hare.
I know.
That's a toss-up.
I know.
I'm giving them that one.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
They're gonna lose to Texas.
Man, this man about to blow a head gas. No.
Brand has finally returned. Your brand.
They're gonna lose to Texas.
You know, a blind squirrel finds a nut. A broken clock is finally right twice a day. Oh, joy it be that the brand has finally returned. Your brand.
They're gonna lose to Texas. Then they're gonna beat South Carolina.
Stop it.
They're gonna lose to Ole Miss. They're gonna lose in Oxford. They're gonna beat Maine. They're gonna beat Missouri. Then they're gonna lose to Alabama. And then they're gonna lose to LSU.
Now, that's about right.
That's 8-4.
Okay. So you're assuming they're gonna lose all those big games. Every one of them.
I think they're gonna lose to Texas. I think they're gonna lose to Ole Miss. I think they're gonna lose to Alabama, and I think they're gonna lose to LSU. That's 8-4. That's a good season, bro.
The Texas one,
that's over 7-5.
What if their defense is the best defense in the SEC? Then what?
It's not.
They're not the best defense in the SEC.
Yeah, it's not gonna be.
We're gonna find out. I'm telling you, they're gonna be better. I can show you that year 3 under Brent Venables with his defenses, they've been at Clemson. They were number 2 in scoring defense. They were number 2 in total defense in his third year.
Now, do you guys have the guys? Yes, y'all have the guys to be up there. Y'all have the stars to be in.
Then why not?
I just don't see it because of the guys that you play.
You're not giving me any reason to believe you guys, though. I mean, if you're going to come with that, I just don't see it. Tell me why. Tell me why.
Historically, who has OU beaten in the SEC historically? Let's just go there.
They've got a winning record against the entire conference.
Okay. Who have they beaten in the last decade?
Say again.
Who have they beaten in the last decade? Who
Who
has
they
OU
beat in the last decade? They beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl that year with Trevor Knight.
You know how long ago that was?
It was a while ago. It was a while ago. But guess who's not there anymore, Brinsky?
Old St. Nick.
And look, and I'm not even guaranteeing that. Look, I'm telling you that those are those big games. If you're going to tell me they're going to lose all 4 of those games to Texas, bullshit. They've already proven that they're the more physical of the 2 teams, and they've got more people coming back than Texas does.
Okay, let's give them that one in. So 9-3.
Okay, yeah, I've been saying 9-3, but I could also see it getting to 10-2. They could also beat LSU. You don't know what you guys just told me. You don't really trust in LSU that much. Now, winning there is tough. I can see them losing a game they shouldn't. I can see them winning games that they shouldn't too. I really do. Yep. We're gonna find out. I think a lot of it is gonna depend on how good is Jackson this year. If you guys saw my video from earlier this week, if Jackson comes in and he's the Elite 11 winner and looks like he is, and doesn't turn the ball over a bunch, and their defense is even top 20 in the country, you're in the SEC's in deep shit.
Okay, all right, Boomer Sooners then, man.
We're going to find out, man. And I do, but hey, look, I already said it before that Georgia is the team to beat in the conference. There's no 2 ways around it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Texas is terrible, because they're not.
No, they're not.
They are set up to win. If they don't win 10 games, that's a failure of a season. But I can see them not doing it.
Just because of Sark. Not because of the talent.
Because it's Texas.
Okay.
They look, first conference championship in 15 damn years. They always recruit well, guys. They always recruit well.
Okay.
Mizzou, I don't give a shit about Missouri. I'm not concerned about them at all.
No, you don't have to be concerned about them. But what if they end up losing? What if Drink pulls a rabbit out his hat?
Well, look. Okay.
Y'all going down to Missouri to play?
They standing on business. That's what he
hey man, my man said he's standing on business.
He does say that a lot.
Hey, that was funny too.
Man, and Josh didn't even say shit to him, and he just walks up and says, "We're standing on business, Josh."
That is hilarious.
No, but he deserved it. He deserved it.
Let's look at this.
You lose, you lose. It is what it is. But here's the other thing I would tell you with that. This was his 4th year. The most wins he had before that was 6. Do you really trust Drink? You just lost your defense, lost your defensive coordinator, lost your best defensive coaches gone to LSU. You know, look, there's a lot of reasons why you could see Oklahoma doing better. There's a lot of reasons why you could see them doing 9-3, 8-4 if things fall well. But look, you couldn't catch Alabama at a better time. You couldn't catch Alabama at a better time.
Let's look at Alabama then, man. Let's look at their schedule. So Alabama's starting out with Western Kentucky. That's a dub.
Undefeated, he says.
Yeah,
South Florida, that's a dub. Then they got Wisconsin
on September 28th.
I don't see Alabama winning that game. I don't think that not Elko, but what's his name? Gosh.
I think Tennessee might get them too.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, where you say we ain't gonna win?
Georgia.
Debatable.
You ain't beating Georgia. Come on.
Okay, it's a toss up, but I'm giving Georgia that one.
Ole Miss and Alabama beating Georgia. Boy, you just hoping. It's the hopium is out.
Yeah. Then y'all got Vandy. That's a dub. Then you got South Carolina. That's a dub. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're 5-1 right now. Then you're gonna beat Tennessee at 6-1. You're gonna beat Missouri at 7-1. Then you got LSU. I don't know. That's a
Big
toss up.
dub. Toss up.
Okay.
In
Yeah,
Baton
that's a
Rouge.
toss up for me.
In Baton Rouge.
That's a toss up for me.
Man, they are not stopping us. We
Okay.
probably run the ball with Justice Haynes all night.
Okay, so that's got them at what, 8-1 with the dub against LSU.
They're gonna lose
Then
in
you got
Norman.
then you got Mercer. That's 9-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna lose in Norman.
I think they're gonna beat Oklahoma.
There you go.
Of course.
You heard the man. You heard the man.
I think they're gonna beat
I've been
Oklahoma.
listening to his ass for 2 weeks. I don't listen. I don't believe his ass at all.
I ain't talking to Jason that whole week.
Then they got Auburn. I'm gonna give them that one too. Y'all will beat Auburn.
No, we're gonna beat the Braves out of Auburn.
So y'all are 11.
It's in T-Town, right? So
yes, sir.
I would think
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So y'all are 11-1. Alabama's getting in the playoff at 11-1.
Even with a loss, even win, of course we're gonna be in the 8. That's why I said if you can
Alabama's getting in with at 11-1. Even at 10-2, Alabama's getting in.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt about that. Okay, so this is all goes back to what we were talking about. Let's say they get 9-3 or 10-2, Alabama's in. But at the way it is, I think the first few years of this playoff, are they going to be super pushy about it? Yeah, I think it all depends. But I believe that 7 teams are going to come out of the Big Ten SEC. Whatever the mix is, there's going to be 7.
I agree.
So you may have 4 SEC teams, you may have 3 Big Ten, or vice versa, depending on how it goes, right? But that being said, will they allow it? I think they could just allow 6, 3 of each or whatever, just because you just don't know what's going to happen. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Let me take a look at my Arkansas Pittman backs, man.
Hummus says, with that schedule, Bama's likely in at 9-3. Look, they could.
That's a good season to me.
That is a great season, in my opinion.
See, these new fans, bro, they haven't lived through the
right, no
the
shit.
bad years when we lost.
Hey, bro, I lived through the 90s for Oklahoma. I feel you. I feel you, bro. I watched the 90s that was a tough decade for OU.
So me watching Alabama win all these years, I was like, man, you cannot get underneath my skin. I'm telling you, I have seen bad.
But here's the thing, and listen, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth Kalen DeBoer. He's won with less talent. Now he's been in less talented freaking, conferences too.
Yeah,
he's been a head coach in less talented conferences. We know that. Brisky, tell me what you said all last year about Washington. That you didn't buy him.
No. I didn't say that. I said I ain't buy they line. I said
you have been one of the biggest Pac-12 haters.
That's what I said. Now that's what I said. I don't trust the Pac-12, and it showed.
Listen, but he did his. That being said, the dude's coached 116 games or 117 games, and he's lost freaking 13 of them total.
Yeah, but the thing was, I said I trust Michael Penix. I trust Aduze. I trust those guys. But I said it was just top heavy. I knew USC wasn't like that. I definitely knew Washington State wasn't like that. Arizona was just like, okay.
Mars said, don't blame Pittman. Who else are we supposed to blame, Mars? Who else are we supposed to blame for that trash?
The administration.
After they won wait, 12-6 at Fresno. What was that after that? That was after a really tough. I mean, they were left terrible. They left them in a bad position. He turned it around immediately. I don't think they lost but 1 game the next year. That's why he got the job. Hell, USC could have hired him instead of Lincoln. Should have hired him instead of Lincoln.
But they want the fancy. They want the fancy names out there.
Thank God they hired Lincoln. That's all I got to say. Thank God.
Hey, that's who need to make a trip back to Norman.
SC, he's never coming. He's never coming. That'll never happen.
If that game, I'm telling you right now, it needs to be a night game, and I need Kurt Herbstreit and them out there televising that game.
You need game day to be there.
You gonna need the army to protect that man.
Man, I don't know. I don't think that I don't even think that they would try that. Not at this moment. Not at this moment. It's way too fresh.
I think we can blame boosters. I agree with that, Mars. We can blame some boosters. But Arkansas, man, let me just talk about their schedule, man, just for shits and giggles. Who cares really, huh? Nobody cares about Arkansas.
What's y'all over and under?
Pittman backs. Arkansas?
Yeah, I just got to know that before you go on.
5.5, isn't it?
5.5. Oh, I gotta hear this.
Yeah, I'm going under. I got them going under. I mean, I'm not delusional by any means. I'm very rational. I'm a very logical thinker when it comes to the Arkansas Razorbacks. Yeah, I'm a Razorback, but
they were 5.5 was their number.
Yeah, I'd like to think that I'm objective about it.
Oh yeah, let me hear these.
Here's the other thing that I would say, and somebody just brought it up in here. Purple said it. You lost Grubb, you lost the offensive line coach. I think that this is the year that you could get Alabama. We're going to find out. We're going to find out how good this is a transition time for the SEC in a lot of ways. But what doesn't need to happen, you cannot allow Georgia to run off away from everybody and dominate this thing. Can't do it.
It's a possibility. That's the most consistent thing in the SEC right now.
They're definitely the best team in the SEC. But the good news is they didn't get Caleb Downs.
Thank God.
Mars, we do not need.
And I was trolling.
We do not need Urban Meyer. Arkansas does not need Urban Meyer. Period.
Why not?
He
don't lose.
He wouldn't go.
He wouldn't go there. But I mean,
that just wishful thinking right there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's like them saying he was maybe going to go and take over the UCLA job. What the hell? No way. He didn't take Texas when he could have. No way.
He didn't want to say that good old saying, Texas back.
So Arkansas opens up against Arkansas Pine Bluff. We hope that's a dub.
That's a dub, man. Come on now.
We hope that's a dub.
That's not a hope. That's a dub.
Then you got Oklahoma State. Now, me personally, this is the make or break game for Sam Pittman in the Arkansas season, in my opinion. This is going to truly tell us what Arkansas has, whether or not they're going to be trash, like pure trash, or if they'll be able to compete, at least compete. I'll give Arkansas that. If they win that game, okay, we might have something. I'll give them UAB just because I don't think that they're going to beat Auburn at Jordan-Hare. I don't think they're going to beat Texas A&M. I don't think they're going to beat Tennessee. I don't think they're going to beat LSU. They may beat Mississippi State. So that gives them what? 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives them 4 wins.
Blake Shapen might be the worst quarterback in the conference. Wait. I think that dude's at Auburn, isn't he?
Ooh, I don't know. Who is Auburn's quarterback, bro?
Same guy as last year, I think, unless they go with a freshman.
Terrible.
Terrible.
Both of them terrible.
Terrible.
So then that's got Arkansas with 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. They're going to lose to Ole Miss. They're going to lose to Texas. They're going to lose to they're going to beat Louisiana Tech. I'll give them that. So that's their 5. I don't think they're going to beat Missouri. I got Arkansas at 5 wins. I got them at 7.
Yeah, they're not going to beat Missouri.
I got them at 5 and 7. I'm sorry. I got them at 5 and 7.
Okay. So they don't get the over then.
I got them under.
Does that get him fired if they're 5 and 7?
Hell yeah. Bro, if Arkansas, I'm telling you, if Arkansas loses, if they lose to Oklahoma State or Auburn, he's fired.
Okay.
Because it'll be more simple to go ahead and insert Bobby Petrino for the rest of the season than it would to keep Sam Pittman there.
Yeah, if they lose one of those non-cons, he is probably gone, right?
He's gone, bro. Yeah.
No.
Absolutely. I mean, now, best case scenario. The crazy thing about Arkansas is that everybody thinks that Arkansas is completely devoid of talent, which is not true. Arkansas has had talent, and they have talent right now.
I like their quarterback they got coming in from Boise.
And we got a stable of running backs. We have decent receivers that are hell. They couldn't even get they couldn't catch the ball last season because KJ couldn't get them the ball because our O-line was so trash. You get what I'm saying? So the jury is still out on the offensive side of the ball as far as our receivers are concerned. I'm not concerned about tight end because we have that freshman coming back. He's not going to be a freshman next year, but before he got hurt, he was beasting out. And on the defensive side of the ball, I think I have more concerns about the linebacker core than anything. Our corners are solid. Our secondary is solid. I think our defensive line is going to be decent. But I just don't see us winning over 5 games, bro. If Bobby Petrino comes in here and just works some type of miracle, it'll be a different story. On the offensive side of the ball, he has to work magic. But other than that, Sam Pittman and
there's been a lot of quarterbacks that have had their best years ever under Bobby Petrino.
That's a fact, and that's not a concern of mine. We're gonna have solid quarterback play. If you can't play quarterback, you're not gonna play at all for Bobby Petrino. If you can't distribute the ball, then no. Luke Haas is not going anywhere, bro. If Luke Haas has the season that he's supposed to have, then he's gonna be at Arkansas for the rest of his career. Period. I just don't see him winning over 5 games. Period.
I have a hard time with it too. I think it's tough. I think that I'm kind of with you that if you would almost hope that they would though, because as you said, Petrino doesn't love to recruit. Pittman does.
But Sam Pittman does
recruit pretty well. So if they could hold it together, win 6 games, maybe they keep that little duo together. Now, we know it didn't work. We know it didn't work last year with Jimbo, but nothing was going to.
Yeah,
right?
Jimbo had Bobby Petrino's hands tied last year too. Bobby Petrino was having to learn completely new terminology.
Oh, I believe that wholeheartedly. We said that preseason, during the season, there was no damn way. During the spring game, he was over there in the way.
Yeah,
and he immediately week 1 or before week 1, they were like, "Well, we'll talk about it," and they were asking about him calling the plays. Yeah, we'll see. You were like,
yeah.
I mean, and the truth is, Jimbo didn't have any incentive to give up the book. Why should they owe me $80 million? Why the hell should I give it up?
But truth be told, when he got fired, Texas A&M's offense literally took off.
Mm-hmm.
It did. I mean, everybody saw it.
Sleeping on Auburn's D, huh? Okay.
When he got fired, Bobby Petrino was actually able to then run the offense the way he wanted to run the offense, and you saw a stark difference.
Sure.
In Texas A&M's offensive output.
Till they got blown out by Okie Light in a bowl game, though.
That's because everybody had already let go of the rope. You know what I mean? Like everybody had already let go of the rope.
You're playing for E-Rob to get the job.
No, absolutely not. Bobby Petrino had already let go of the rope too because he knew he was leaving at that point. Matter of fact, he was already going, I think. Hell, he was at a basketball game with Sam Pittman at that point, man. You know what I mean? So
hey, here's a good question though. If Pittman does get fired, do you think that Barry Odom comes back and gets that job maybe? Or does it just go to Petrino automatically?
Listen, I've been trying to talk to people about Barry Odom since the get. I felt like Barry Odom was a solid coach at Missouri. He's a defensive-minded coach.
I'm going to tell you this. If you can win at UNLV, you can win.
Bro. And then they have a solid offense, that go-go offense.
Bro, well, that's not necessarily his offense, but it's
not his offense, but it's his coordinator.
Homie is stud. I'm surprised he was able to hold on to him, man.
Bro, that was one of the offensive coordinators on my short list to replace Dan Enos.
I love that offense. I've watched a lot of that film.
It's a dangerous offense.
They run well out of it. They throw well out of it. It looks weird, but they do everything very well. And everywhere they've been, they've done it.
Yep. He was on the short list of coordinators that I wanted to replace
for
Dan
everybody.
Enos.
Look, he was in for. I'm surprised he didn't leave.
Yeah,
I think he's waiting for a head coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think at best Arkansas can go 7-5. At worst, shit, they can just shit the bed and just
Do Arkansas shit.
yeah, they can just.
Yeah, I
I
got it.
mean,
Yeah.
Arkansas ceiling is 7-5.
Okay.
I think
I
their
can see
floor
that too.
is. Yeah, I think their floor is 4-8.
Okay.
You're already chalking it up to the game.
Bro, what, man? I don't see it, bro. I've seen so much talent at Arkansas, and Sam Pittman did nothing with it.
Yeah.
Nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's just sad because he's wasting these kids' talent, man. I mean, there are talented kids on this Arkansas team, but he doesn't put the ball in his playmakers' hands. He just doesn't. When Luke Haas got hurt, Washington came in. Washington was 5th on the depth chart before Luke Haas got hurt. But when he got in the game, when he actually got in the game, he absolutely balled out. And I'm like, what? Why is he not on the field anyway? Why is he 5th on the depth chart, Sam Pittman? You get what I'm saying? Like, the story in Arkansas is that Sam Pittman likes to play favorites. And he likes to play the kids that he has the best relationship with, which is okay. But bro, you're not playing the most talented kids. The thing about Bobby Petrino is that Bobby Petrino is going to play the most talented kids, period. And if Sam Pittman gets in his way, that's going to be the demise of Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman is going to be back in Oklahoma somewhere looking for an O-line coach.
Either that or he'll be back at Georgia.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for an O-line coach job unless he just wants to retire.
Gonna be at Oklahoma.
He might go to OU. He was born in Oklahoma. He was raised in Oklahoma.
Bill Bedenbaugh is the best O-line coach in the country, bro. I mean, he just is. He's got.
Okay.
It's just a fact. But yeah, I get what you're saying. We need to run the flex bone. Yeah, look, the flex bone would be fun. That would be fun.
He said, "I'm drunk."
I think it's very interesting. Wayfaring, you're right, Farmer, because we're going to see what's happening here. I think that DeBoer is very, very good. I think that was who they targeted the whole way. I don't buy that Dan Lanning was ever offered. I don't buy that Sark was ever offered either.
You think they were going
they
the whole
went
time?
after DeBoer immediately.
Yeah.
I think that they have a good agent that got them paid, acting like there was an offer out there. I understand that. But I'm telling you, that whole dude, Dan Lanning that dude is a freaking fool.
I like Dan Lanning.
He's full of shit as a Christmas goose, bro. That's all.
Yeah, I like Dan
Lanning coming out of his damn ears. But I'm just saying, I think that bottom line is, I think you have to assume that there's going to be a step back, at least a little bit of one, before they can move forward. They've got to get it together in the staff. No, he's not going to be over BB. He hasn't left out. Okay, here's the deal about Saban. He's not going to get in the way, and he's going to be at ESPN more than he is going to be in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
He's playing golf and loving it, and dude, I don't see this happening, bro. I don't really see that.
I think Sam Pittman will take the chance
through the SEC. Let's be real. Then that will spark the breaking off of a new college football league. I just sent a link to Bomber at Big 12 Mafia. This guy has been chasing. I mean, their show is the best there is for realignment talk. Those guys are on top of that shit more than anybody. So if he comes in, we'll get a chance to kind of pick his brain about that. I don't know that the 12 team is bad for the SEC. They are going to probably break it, but I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a subdivision. I don't really see either the Big 12 or ACC completely dying. I just don't. I know that Florida State's out, and I know that okay, yeah, maybe, but he's recruiting not being the coach.
Yeah.
Look, the way that they say recruiting is for Kalen DeBoer to continue winning.
That's it. That's the only way that any team can continue to recruit. Personally,
you got to do it. They have to win. And how fast? Let me ask you this, Brinsky. How quick is where the hell did he go?
I don't know.
He didn't want to answer this question.
That's funny.
I said, how long? My question would be, how quick is the hook? How quick is the hook there?
Are you talking about before they actually start talking about replacing him?
Before they do replace him. If he goes 9-3 in year one, or let's say they go 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, I think that Saban made a tactical error, by not leaving, when he left, and the only place that was open, he could have waited until the spring or whatever when the portal was going to open, and it wouldn't have mattered really. Well, either way, you were going to have to do something.
I agree.
The question I had for you, what happened, man? Did you just bounce on me?
No, man. I was trying to figure out why my podcast was just playing in my ear. That's why I had that look on my face. I'm like, where is this at? And I had so many tabs, and it was on a whole nother Explorer. But yeah,
so the question I was having was, how quick is the hook? If they were to go 9-3 or God forbid 8-4 in Tuscaloosa, is he out of there in 2 years if he doesn't get back to the playoff?
Nah, man. He's in good shape. Oh, that, man.
Really?
Not 9-3 is a good year. That's why I say it's just the new fans, man. I know we've been spoiled. Like what Nick Saban has done is what Nick Saban has done, man. It has really spoiled a lot of fans. That's why I said it's like a lot of new school.
That's what I'm saying. How quick is the hook? How quick is the hook?
It's you got to give him at least 4 years. It all depends on what he does in that 4 years. If he goes 10-2, you can go 10-2, 10-2, 10-2. Only thing that matters is what you do in that playoffs once you're in it. He just can't just go in the playoffs and just lose in the first round. That's what's going to hold him. It doesn't matter what you do in that regular season, especially with them expanding the playoffs. What you do in that playoffs is going to determine how long he's going to be at Alabama.
But if he misses the playoff in year one, does it shorten the leash?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm asking because I tend to wonder. Wonder because you guys are spoiled.
I think if memory serves me correct, if my memory serves me correctly, and I could be wrong, I think I think we was like, I can't remember when we won the bowl game or not, but I remember we losing to Auburn for the 6th time. I think we was for the 5th time. I think we went 10-2 the year before. If I off the top of my head, before Nick Saban got there, but the reason why Shula got fired because he couldn't beat Auburn.
Right.
That was the problem. He could not beat Auburn. You can't go that many years and not beat Auburn.
Run your ass out. It's just like the whole deal with look. Hell, Ryan Day hasn't lost games to hardly anybody unless it's been in the playoff or now Michigan. Yep. And they're ready to run his ass off. If he loses to Sherrone Moore year one of Sherrone Moore,
he's going. He's getting replaced.
Get out of here.
Because
we'll take him at Arkansas.
Yeah, that's why I said but out of all the guys, they losing Blake Quam, they JJ McCarthy, they lost the head coach. You lose your offensive coordinator. I forgot they Wilson, they wide receiver. They lost a lot of guys. And Ohio State got all those players.
That's right.
If they lose that game, he would not make it to the playoff. Matter of fact, they'll let him go to the playoff, but he better win. He got to win that.
He better win the whole damn thing. Yeah.
That's when
the only thing that would save him. I don't even know that he would make it to the playoff if they lose.
No. If he's if they qualify for
they got Chip Kelly. They don't really have to have him.
Chip will mess up that, man. Chip will mess up that.
He's been to
you
a
think
playoff.
So?
He's won a game in the playoff.
Yeah, but Chip will mess it up, man.
Whatever, bro. I don't think Chip's as bad as everybody acts like he is, man. The guy is he's a better offensive mind than Ryan Day is.
I give you that, but I don't think he's a better coach.
Really? Dude was born on third base. That's all I know. Dude was born on third base. So Lincoln Light, Ryan Day.
Oh my God! Come on, man. I just don't respect Chip Kelly in a lot of ways, man. Especially how he did my boys in Philly. I just don't like how he just did them boys.
Chip at OSU. That look, there's no reason they should lose. They're going to have one of the best defenses in the country. They added Caleb Downs. They were already one of the best defenses in the country.
Mm-hmm.
They added Caleb Downs to the mix there. They added, and then look, I don't trust Will Howard so much, but Aaron Nolan. They've got a couple of freshman guys that, and not to mention the kid that got hurt at the start of the Mizzou game. You know, in the Cotton Bowl, I forget his name. He's a stud. They should have given him the job anyway over that clown that ended up running off to Syracuse. What a wolf that he didn't even want to compete. That's crazy.
But that tells you
Kyle McCord. It tells you everything you need to know about him.
Mm-hmm. Right? Go ahead, my fault.
But I'm telling you this. The only place I don't trust him in is that quarterback.
We've been right there since day one saying the same thing. Is Will Howard, bro? I just can't get past it.
Look, I know that they've got Julian Sand. He's a stud, but he's a freshman. Aaron Nolan, he's a freshman. He's a stud too.
And one of them going after this year.
This is going to be tough, right? So, but I don't think that he's got much leash left. Now, if they make the playoff and they beat Michigan, then he'll have another year. But you better be Michigan.
If he goes to the playoff, he has to at least with that team. He has to at least, if he's going to lose, he has to lose.
Defense, I don't know that you have any excuses to lose. Even in that, I mean, I think that Oregon might be pretty good. I think that the travel is going to be harder on them than they think it is. Than anybody's giving them.
They
credit.
can't lose. Yeah. They can't lose early. They got to at least lose in the semifinal. That's the farthest they can lose.
Devin. Okay, Hummus, you're an Ohio State guy. Talk to me here. Is he out of there? If not, he's gone. He set it up here. Yep. Day has to either beat Michigan and go to the CFP final or win the Natty. Wow.
See, that's the thing that
if he loses, he needs to win the Natty. Is that what you're telling me? If he loses to Michigan? Yeah, I think they are all in. Well, it's the same thing with Ole Miss. They pushed all their chips in the middle. Now, I don't think that you fire Lane Kiffin because Ole Miss they're not used to it. It's not the same standard there.
Nah, it's not.
It's not the same.
Ole Miss is not a traditional blue blood team like your OUs and your Alabamas. I mean, they can. The thing about Ole Miss is nobody would be surprised if they go 7-5, and nobody would be surprised if they go 10-2. You know what I'm saying? That's just the type of team Ole Miss is. Right. You just don't know what you're going to get from year to year.
And they've been good. They've been good with Lane there. Don't get me. I mean, we know that, but
better than average.
Oh, that's
better than their historical record.
The only thing, this is literally how it's going to set up. I pretty much got this set in my head. If he beats Michigan, with that team, the farthest he can lose is the semifinals of the playoff. But if he loses to Michigan, he has to win or he's gone. With that team, you can't lose.
You can't lose 4 in a row to Michigan, bro. You can't.
They'll probably burn his house down.
That's funny.
He may be sleeping at the shoe for a while.
He's gonna be at the shoe, all right.
He might be.
Yeah, OSU is what Michigan used to be.
Well,
I don't know.
I wouldn't go there.
I wouldn't go that far either. They're loaded with talent. And look, it's hard to win national championships. They've made it to the playoffs a lot. They haven't the last, they didn't this past year, but they were in it the year before. They almost beat Georgia. Yeah. I think it's a little bit.
They should have beat Georgia.
I mean, look, Oklahoma fans are the same damn way, delusional about expecting the most out of, even in BV's first year with the team gutted and a brand new quarterback, 2 5-stars are gone, and they were ready to fire his ass when they lost the first game. I mean, this is how college football fans are.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Ryan Day guy, but I'm telling you that he's been better than what they were in Harbaugh's first 8 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They were in bad shape, man.
And I was one of the Harbaugh guys saying, you still got to give him time.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah, listen, but is Ohio State, listen, they brought in the guy from Texas A&M, which is why they opened up the pocketbook. Shocker. The AD. Now all of a sudden they're playing the NIL game, but he doesn't owe Ryan Day shit.
He's talking about the new AD?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. No, he may go hire Jimbo Fisher again.
Good Lord.
Hey. Can y'all imagine Jimbo Fisher at OSU?
That made me all kinds of happy. I can't stand Ohio State. Sorry, hummus.
Hey man, that man ain't doing. That man is sipping pina coladas right now, man. That man getting that bag right now.
Why do you even care at this point? If you're Jimbo, I would never coach again.
I wouldn't
never.
Either. I wouldn't either. There would be no reason to.
I'll go to college game day and argue with Nick Saban.
Right.
Or that, yeah. Or just go out to my.
I start a podcast. I start a podcast about coaching.
Yep. And just snap on everybody.
Yep. Yep.
If BV doesn't make the playoffs this year, is he on the hot seat? No.
Yeah, he is.
Not unless he hits 7. Not unless he goes 7-5. He's not on the hot seat for this year if he doesn't make the playoff.
Well, according to FanDuel, he's going to be on the hot seat at the end of the season.
That's not going to be the. Did you say you have to leave?
Yeah, I got to get out of here.
My man about to get that FanDuel sponsorship. He keep mentioning them right there.
Man, I just like messing with Jason, man. I just like messing with Jason because I know it pisses him off.
Hey, let everybody know how to find you there.
Find me
it's all in the description too, but.
Yeah, it's Real SEC Mo at Real SEC Mo REAL SEC Mo on all platforms, YouTube, Twitter, or X, Instagram. I haven't gotten super active with the SEC Mo channel, but I will be having some content coming soon. But yeah, I got to run out of here, man. I got to do a presentation at work tomorrow, so I got to finish up some work.
Yeah, handle that, bro. No worries. And we got lots of stuff coming with SEC Mo and Brinsky Sharp here with the No Cap SEC. So we're excited to have you on, man. And these guys are going to give you shit every time because you're an Arkansas.
I love
guy,
it, man.
And
I
you're
love it, man.
Shit. So it's what it is. So
it's still Woo Pig, baby, and I'm out.
All right, bro. Later.
Peace.
SEC Mo, good stuff. Okay, guys. Venables is not on the hot seat, folks. He's not. He's if they were to go 7-5 or so, yeah, maybe, right? But he's gonna get another year either way. I'm gonna tell you guys this one more time. They're gonna have a top 20, at least a top 20 defense in the country. If they do that, all they have to do is be similar to what they were on offense last year. I don't know what the hell Barrett Sallee was talking about on that SEC podcast. I don't know what he was talking about. Talking about saying that they're not getting the Heisman type quarterbacks. What is he? What is Michael Hawkins? These guys are, it's crazy what that dude was talking about. Now, because you do have this talent, yes, he needs to put it together, but he's recruiting way too well for them to just pull the plug on it after one bad season. And being your first season in the SEC, particularly when you got the hard schedule. We're talking the difference between Texas and Oklahoma. It's night and day on the schedules, period. After the Georgia game, which follows the Oklahoma game, the rest of their SEC schedule was 14 games under 500, Brinsky Sharp. 14 games under 500. They've got Florida, Vandy, Mississippi State, Kentucky, A&M. Shish. Oklahoma's SEC schedule was like 60 something and 26. And that's with crappy ass South Carolina in there.
No, I believe Man, you guys gonna do good things in the SEC, especially the SEC Tech logo is gonna go a long way for OU and Texas.
Listen, I think that look, the funny thing, and we were, I played the F your brand thing that Onakuno had put that out the other day. And something that he said that really kind of stuck with me was, I understand that, it's easy to be that guy that's like, well, he's never been a head coach. He hasn't proved it as a head coach. Man, 3 national championship teams, they've played for multiple more with him as a defensive coordinator. He had a part in that. He had a big part in it. They would not have won shit at Clemson without Venables.
Mm-hmm.
That defense was easily as important as what they were doing offensively. In fact, it made what they did offensively possible.
I agree.
And the same goes for Oklahoma. Look, he knows what he's doing, and they, this year is going to be, it's a prove-it year for that defense. I think they have the depth in place that they're going to do it. Look, if they're top 20, like I said, I don't think that when you look at their skill positions, they got all these. Deion Burks, that's a big-time receiver, right? You got Andrell Anthony coming back. You've got, look, Nick Anderson was the number 3 guy most of the year last year and had 10 touchdowns and 800 yards. He didn't even have 40 catches. You got guys coming in as freshmen. Taylor Tatum is probably going to make he's going to make an impact right away.
Mm-hmm.
He was the number 1 running back in the country. He's a dual threat guy. He can catch the ball out of it. He was talking about lining up at receiver, son. Jaden Gibson, we're not talking about him yet. Brennan Thompson, he runs a 10-1 freaking 100. He's a track star, an Olympian type of guy. Jackson doesn't have to be perfect. He just has to be careful with the ball at times. Let your defense do it. You got good running backs. It's the easy throws, man. If Seth Luttrell makes the game easy for him, unlike what we saw from Lincoln Riley last year for Caleb Williams, if he just makes the game easy for Jackson has a hell of a year, and he shuts a lot of people up.
Yeah, I believe so too. I'm high on Jackson, man. I believe he's a good quarterback. I just don't know where the hate comes from when it comes to him.
I mean, well, and it's funny because the thing that Onakuno said that I freaking cracked up. They're like, you hear a lot of people saying, well, their quarterback went to Oregon. Last year, y'all are telling us how shitty our quarterback was.
Mm-hmm. You gotta pick a stand. What you gonna stand on, man?
Look, and I've been the guy that said I would have probably rather had Dylan Gabriel with the amount of experience he has year 1 in the SEC. That being said, he doesn't have close to the arm that Jackson has. He's not as big or strong as Jackson. The upside for Jackson is well beyond anything Dylan can do. You don't mess with that. And I think that they did the right. BV said that he could stay. I think that Dylan knew it was time to leave.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall.
He knew it was time to leave. And I think that he's going to do a hell of a job at Oregon. I really do. And I'm indebted to the guy. Look, man, the way that the program got left by Lincoln, it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been a hell of a lot worse. He came in and did things. They were top 15 in the country with him. Then they were top 5 in the country on offense. I think they got a better play caller than Lebby. Seth Luttrell is more proven as a play caller. He's had more time doing it. He's been a head coach. I think that this is a good situation. They've got they didn't stop. They're still out. They're out recruiting Lincoln Riley on offense too. It's shit. So, hey, it all has to come together. But I think that it's getting ready to. I've been pointing at 2025, but I could see this thing taking off earlier if everything goes right. And I think a lot of pieces have fallen in the way that would allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You never say, you got to see them do it first. But I think it's crazy to think that they only win 7. I think you're nuts if you really think that. I don't think that there's any way, even with that schedule. I don't think there's any way. I can see them losing to Ole Miss. I can see them losing to Alabama. I can see them losing to LSU. I don't really see the Tennessee loss. They know Josh very well. It's at home. They're probably going to win that game. Could you see them losing the Auburn game? Possibly. I can see them losing. There's 4 or 5 teams that they might lose to. They're not losing to all of them.
I don't see y'all losing to LSU at all. I just don't see
them losing to Texas.
Yeah, Texas is a little young, man. They losing with A.D. Mitchell being gone, Xavier Worthy being gone, Brooks gone. And we talking about that's 3 starters by itself on the offensive end. You still got yours. You do bring in Isaiah Bunn, so you got a start.
Look, but they've got to connect. They've got to get on the same page.
That's the thing. You're right.
All those guys, they have to get on the same page with them. And here's the other thing. As much as I think Quinn's a good quarterback, but he's also kind of fragile when it comes to things don't go his way. He doesn't always, handle it very well. Yeah, they did. Well, sir, we're going to see, man. In the end, we'll find out what it is. Give me your prediction on how many SEC teams get into the playoff this year. 4, 3, what?
I got Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still say us because of the schedule and how much we still retain. We still got a lot.
Anything less from you? Go ahead.
No, but we still keep a lot of guys, important guys.
I feel like they could definitely freaking make the playoffs too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they can too.
I
don't know that they will, but I think that they can.
Ole Miss.
Quinn has never been healthy for an entire season yet. He's missed games every year.
In Texas.
Yeah.
That's it. For this year, yeah, those 4.
So just
4.
3. No 4. Ole Miss, maybe OU. Okay, so you can see them getting 4. It's going to be one of those teams. Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Tennessee, LSU.
Yeah, because Ole Miss don't really play outside of, I think, do Ole Miss play us this year?
No. They've got.
So the only game they really got is like Georgia.
Hold on. They've got
Georgia and you guys.
Yeah, they've got Georgia. Hold on just a second. I'll tell you. Kentucky, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State. Yeah, they actually have a favorable schedule. LSU on the road too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still see them beat LSU, so we can just say, okay.
But in Baton Rouge, and that's going to be early enough time.
It all depends. LSU is losing a whole lot, and I just have to see it. Right. It all depends on how that defense. If I put it like this, if LSU defense is still the same way like it was this past year, Ole Miss is going to blow them out by 21.
But they're not going to be. They've got a competent defensive.
That's what I'm saying. I don't expect them to be that way either.
Yeah,
but outside of that, let's just say they only lose to Georgia. Then more than likely they're gonna a 1-loss team. It's a big chance that they'll play in the SEC championship game. Then let's just say it's Georgia again, and they lose to them again. That's only 2 losses. They're going to get in a 2-loss SEC school.
But you're assuming they're going to go on the road and beat Oklahoma.
Even with 3 losses.
I think they get in with 3 losses too.
I just don't see anybody else. 3 losses I just don't see it, man. I really don't see it.
Nah, they're going to leave them in. And look, here's the other thing. We kind of talked about this before the show. Kalen DeBoer's got heat on him because of the fact that he was in the national championship game with Washington. Look, the dude he got to the national championship game with less talent on that roster than they got here.
Mm-hmm. But
maybe not in the quarterback room. Now, I mean, I'm not bad mouthing Milroe. I just don't know that he's a thrower enough for what they're going to do. Are they going to be able to run 90% of the time? I don't buy that. I don't see him doing it.
Oh no. The thing is, I think the best thing for Jalen is Kalen DeBoer, because him liking the pass, and they'll teach him throwing motion and whatnot. Ryan Grubbs was a loss, but I still believe it's Kellen DeBoer's system.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Well, and look, he's got a guy that has been in his system. The tight end coach was with him too. I mean, he's got familiar guys. And
then we got Shepard, which is, I believe, is one of the most underrated coaches. A lot of folks gonna know about him. Our wide receivers, where he's now co-offensive coordinator,
right?
Which I thought he was going to be the offensive coordinator, but the tight end coach,
the O-line coach that he had, and Grubb. I mean, there's a lot of things that could look. I'm not saying it's going to fall apart. I think that if they were to go 9-3 and not make it, or 8-4 and not make it, that doesn't. I think that the year after that they're really good, probably. Because then you would have the opportunity to, you get a year under your belt there. It's a new deal.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I do think that we're gonna see kind of how it goes. But I would say that you should get 4 in there. I think you probably get 3, but I could see them limiting it to 3 each, and then that would be the other two. The other 2 conferences, the big conferences, get a couple in, maybe.
If we had to break it down, out of all the teams in the Big Ten,
4, it'd be 6 and 4. That'd be 10. So there's got to be 4-3, at least 4-3. I think
I don't even see that many teams coming out of the Big Ten. I only see Ohio State right now. Michigan lost too much for me.
Oregon, Ohio State.
State, I forgot Oregon. I forgot about
Drew
Oregon.
Aller. They're loving on Drew. Now, hey, Franklin needs to show me some shit, but a lot of people are really high on Aller.
See, the best thing now, I got another big prediction. I think Julian Fleming is going to have an outstanding year. He is going to be the number 1 guy there. This is his time to shine. This is his last year. He's going to shine.
See, Zach Smith and them aren't high on him. I don't know.
This is going to be a big year for him. I thought that was an awesome pickup, and I thought that would Drew Adler.
Yeah, and the thing, I think Drew Adler's the guy, but the receiving room has to step up big for that to happen, and Franklin has to figure it out. Now, I'll tell you this: they got a hell of an offensive coordinator coming from KU. Hell of an offensive coordinator. They're going to do things, blocking and doing some stuff like that nobody in the Big Ten's seen it. And I'll tell you, we said this a lot, that that's not our parents or your parents freaking Kansas anymore. It's not, man. They've got a real deal coach. Lance Leipold is the real deal, right? I don't know. There's a ceiling that you're gonna bang on, but his offensive coordinator was the dude, and they were paying the shit out of him, but he had to go take that job.
Yeah,
he had to take that job.
Kansas in the Big Ten?
No.
Oh, okay.
But they Lance Leipold, his offensive coordinator. A lot of people just give that to Leipold alone. It's not the case. I mean, he's the guy behind it.
Yeah.
But this offensive coordinator is very good, and now he's at Penn State. They could do some things. Again, I still want to see Franklin actually do it.
Now, if we talking about somebody that don't get it done, Franklin is the one who don't get it done.
Oh, he doesn't. No, he's got 1 win. Or 2 wins against Michigan, Michigan State, and freaking Ohio State. in the entire time he's been there.
Yeah, and it's time.
I mean, they're not going to fire him. He's been to enough New Year's Six games. He's probably going to, if he does just what he has done the last couple of years, they get in.
Franklin did, and I remember this, man. I said he did exactly what he did at Vanderbilt. I was like, man, get out of there as fast as you can.
Right time, right? Just what I said about Mizzou.
Mm-hmm.
Just
get out of there when you can. You know you're not going to do the same thing next year.
Shit.
You know you're not going to continue to get recruits there. You just got to know.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's easy to go win those big games when nobody expects you to. It's easier, I should say, when nobody expects you to. Even when the East was trash at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
When Mizzou goes to back-to-back title games, you know it's bad. Because they didn't do that shit in the Big 12.
You're right. You're right. And the more but they got blitz in them games too.
Yeah, they did. No, they got blown the hell out. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
They were screwed. Oh, here comes the bomber. Right as we're welcome to the show, Nathan Bomber Brown. Well, maybe he's here.
I'm here. Can you hear me, Jason?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta turn. I'm on my phone. Gotta turn on my screen. Hang on a second.
What's up, man?
Not much. How you guys doing?
What's going on?
Good, man. We're just we're talking a little bit of SEC ball and what to expect with this now new format that appears to be going to get new again.
Right.
What are your thoughts on all of that? What's going to happen there?
Do you guys think that what has been put in the press is going to be voted on, or do you think it's going to change?
What do you mean voted on? Or I mean, I think
like the commissioners have to agree to it, right? So what's been put out there right now is just leaks.
Sure, but don't you think that most of the people that would, I mean, if the SEC and the Big Ten are okay with it, why would nobody else be? Because it gives the other folks a chance, or more of a chance, I guess, to get in.
Yep.
If you go with the current structure with the 12 and you give the top 4, reserve spots, and it stays that small, yeah, it probably isn't going to be a big deal. But if they want to expand to 14 or 16, and they want to go to 4 reserve for the Big and the SEC combined, that kind of limits, like the Big 12, for instance, only 1 or maybe 2 slots. And so,
don't you think that's where you are anyway?
Well, maybe. I mean, every year is a little different. I mean, I'm not going to deny that that's generally been the case. I just think it's kind of it's a cheap out to say just because that's always the way it's been, that's what we're going to demand now. But maybe. I mean, right now the board of managers has to vote. It has to be unanimous to make any changes like that. So I don't know that Brett Yormark, for instance, is going to vote against their own interest unless they can work out a deal that makes it more affordable. I guess that's possible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to me, the writing's on the wall with the SEC and the Big Ten. They're driving the sport when it comes to, national championships and money and all that other stuff. I mean, they have the big contracts.
Right.
They want ESPN and Fox want them in.
Yes.
I don't really see that's not going to happen. Now, what I really feel like is you got to find here's the question that I had, and I asked these guys that earlier too, but is there any part of you, Bomber, that thinks that, say they go to 14, is that become a play-in game, the 13-14? Is that now a play-in for that last spot for your G5 school or whatever you want to call it?
I don't think that's a separate round. The thing that who was it? I'm trying to remember who put out the 14 yesterday. I can't remember which writer, but basically his idea was there would only be 2 buys. Everybody else would play in the first round.
Okay.
So, and those 2 buys you would think would be the Big and the SEC champion, right? So
Sure.
they would get off a round. In my opinion, if they're going to do it, go all the way, go to 16 teams, have 8 round games, nobody gets a bye, and just have a true tournament. I would prefer that. And maybe get rid of all auto bids.
I think all auto bids need to go away too. If there was something that I would change about any of it, would be why now do you want to go to auto bids?
Yeah,
you didn't have auto bids. You didn't have auto bids for a freaking 14 playoff. Now you're going to do them?
Well, and think about it. I think more people would be okay with no auto bids if it's a merit-based thing. If you're good enough, you should play. And if you're not good enough,
absolutely.
You should.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any gifts. So that's the one thing that I would balk at. This language that says the SEC and the Big Ten both get 4 teams guaranteed, no matter what their records are. I just don't care for that. I'd rather go to all auto bids.
I understand that, but okay,
no
so
auto bids.
if no auto bids, and see, but that could also work against. See, we were talking about it earlier that okay, let's say Utah, or it ain't gonna be Okie Light. So Utah, Arizona, BYU, somebody else, but Okie Light wins the conference next year in the Big 12.
Right.
But they got 2 losses. Right. And this just happened 2 years ago with K-State.
Right.
So they've got 2 losses. Now they're going to get an automatic bid for a bye because they're a conference champion
this year. Yeah, for sure.
Right. But you're talking about a situation where the number 3 team in the SEC is liable to beat the shit out of them. Right.
Sure.
I mean, there's the thing. That's just, I mean, reality is Alabama beat K-State like a drum.
Yeah, no.
After they beat TCU, right?
I think
now,
bowl games
doesn't mean it happens every year, and I think the earlier that we're talking about this, before the money gets so different,
right,
you might have a better opportunity to be good, right?
So I think if they go to 16, they get rid of all championship games for the conferences. There's no reason to play that other game. It just adds tiring
championship games
to those players. Huh?
You think they get rid of the championship games?
I would. I mean, if I'm the Big Ten, why do I want to have a championship that could possibly give a team?
See, I see the Big Ten not wanting to do it, but I think the SEC. I've been saying this, but I think the SEC wants to keep the championship game.
Well, sure, let them do it, but their champion who comes out of that game will not be rested. Because they're playing that extra game. Why give an advantage to the 3 seed that the 1 seed doesn't get?
Yeah. No.
So anyway, I'm totally okay with going to merit based. Let these teams play, and if they deserve to be in, they'll be in. Get inside the top 16. I would get rid of the auto bids for the G5. I'd get rid of all the auto bids. Every one of the.
And here's the thing: I think that you would better serve the group of 5 schools by getting them their own playoff.
Yeah, I think eventually we're going to be there. The money is too different.
It is, and right, it's too different. And then look, think about this though. You could make the G5 will make a lot of money if they do their own tournament bracket. If you're a college football guy, we're college football guys. I watch Division II playoffs every damn year.
Right.
I watch it.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, I mean, there's a few things that will have to change. If they go to 16, they'll basically get rid of bowl season for the top seeds.
Right.
Everybody that's in the 16 and above, those games will either be home games or they'll be bowl games on at the first of the year, maybe the 31st, second round games. So, that'd be the quarterfinals, I guess. So through December, you pretty much have that whole month would be playoffs. And I think that's the way it needs to be. Look, everybody wants the best team to win. If you're the best team, win the tournament. I have no problem with that. That's the American way. This idea that we're picking and choosing. And let me ask you this. Why should the ACC champion that has 2 losses be seated ahead of 11-2 Auburn?
They shouldn't.
Right? They shouldn't. And I agree with that.
Mm-mm.
I would much rather, would it put the Big 12 sometimes behind the gun? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But in my opinion, it should all be merit based.
Listen, and the hard thing is that even now, and look, there's a lot of people, and I'm one of the people that kind of believes this. When you lose Oklahoma and Texas out of there, and if you're the ACC and say you lose Florida State and Clemson, now all of a sudden you don't have one of those all the time good programs that can carry you and your reputation be up. You better be up and win every weekend if you really want a real, or not lose more than one. If you go in, if you were conference champions with 2 losses, you're putting your conference at risk there. You know, you're going to get in because of the auto bid situation, but in the end, it's not like you just said based on merit, you got to go out there and win. If you're Okie Light and you're not going out there and playing anybody in the non-con because they don't want to, you know, you could be playing Oklahoma, you refuse. You know, and I know not everybody's like that. BYU will play anybody. Utah will play anybody. K-State will play anybody. Right? We know that.
Right.
But you're going to need to do that if you're the Big 12 and the ACC. You're going to need to do that now. You cannot allow those games that are, you know, you need to play those tough out-of-conference games early in the year to help your conference. And that's something that Yormark, I believe that these guys have got to get together and say that and be realistic with themselves as these coaches. I think that, and I always go back to Oklahoma State because they have ducked out of the freaking Oklahoma game. And I think it's the dumbest thing they could have done. And number one, they lose a lot of money like this. That's a huge moneymaker in the state. It matters to people in the state whether or not they want to act like it. Now, Oklahoma State fans will tell you it doesn't matter because they don't win it very often. But the truth is, it does matter. Look how they've acted when they won. They love it.
Have they?
Right?
Was that a decision that was made by Oklahoma State? The reason Bedlam's not going is because they turned down the games.
Yeah, Oklahoma has been fine with it. Now his Gundy's excuses were booked out for 15 years. That's trash. A lot of those games, now they're booked out for a few years.
Right.
But you could buy a team out, and Oklahoma would.
Right.
You know what I mean? The fact of the matter is he's won 4 games out of 19.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, you know how I feel about rivalry games. I think every
I'm
rivalry.
with you. And listen, look, man, I hate it that they freaking lost the game this year. It sucks. But I'll tell you this. Rivalries are what makes college football go around.
Yeah, that is.
It's very important.
On a rivalry game, I can't figure you out. I don't know what you're thinking, man.
And I also think that they're going to lose a level of competitiveness by not keeping that game. It's going to hurt them if they don't do it for very long. If you're not having to get up for Oklahoma every year, then because if you're Oklahoma State, you don't necessarily have to win it. You just got to play a good game against them,
right.
And you look very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously, everything's tilted towards the Big Ten, the SEC. That's not going to change anytime soon. I think Yormark's doing a great job trying to keep the Big 12 in it.
Sure.
Maybe swimming upstream a little bit. We won't know for a while. But in my opinion, right now, the Big 12 needs to do everything it can to steal those schools from the ACC and get rid of the ACC as a power conference.
What are you hearing, though, about that? Do you believe that I feel like they're just going to do a subdivision and maybe the conferences don't change that much. I mean, you've added a lot of schools to the ACC already.
Yeah,
but you only lose 4 schools out of there. Why did they need to go anywhere?
Well, think about it, though. You say Oklahoma State and Oklahoma had stayed and Oklahoma State had left, and your conference that you're sitting in, yeah, you rule the roost, but the teams you're playing are Towson State and Edmonds Fitzgerald School of
no doubt.
Typing.
Oh, I know.
And if you're doing that, then you're not getting paid to play any football. Nobody's going to watch you playing those games.
Again, so, this is why I say they ought to be filling their freaking non-con schedule up with losses if that's what it takes.
That's enough. I don't need that. Look at it like this, very practically. If the ACC loses Florida State, and there's words that there might be 2 or 3 other schools that go with them, is the rest of that conference worth power conference money? I would say if you lose Florida State, it loses power conference money. But that's just my opinion. So right now, there's words that Notre Dame is having emergency meetings And this whole thing with being left out of the first round playoffs and all that other stuff, they might just be throwing in the towel and going with the Big Ten. If they were to do that along with Florida State, it would destroy the ACC.
Yeah, I think that I know it's on shaky ground, but I think a lot of stuff still. I mean, you guys and you look. I was saying it before you came in that your show is on top of the realignment stuff, unlike anybody else in the country on YouTube. So, I mean, I'm with you on what you're saying. I also feel like, and I feel like I've gotten this from you guys, is that it's not necessarily a sure thing that the ACC is going away.
That's true. Nothing.
And I don't believe that the Big 12 is going away. That I mean,
the Big 12's not going away.
It's not going anywhere. When because look, let's just be real. Utah can want the Big 10 all they want to. They're never going to be a Big 10.
Yeah, those days, I think that's finally hitting.
That's a pipe dream that was never going to freaking happen, just like we said all last year.
Not unless they go to like 30 teams or something. It's just not enough. There's not enough chairs on the boat.
But at what point does it start look, they already didn't pay Oregon and Washington a full share in the Big Ten.
No, they're not. I'm telling you, they're not. They will be lucky to go to 20 teams. If the Big Ten goes to 20 teams, maybe 21 with Notre Dame. Right. In my opinion, the ACC ceases to be a big power conference. They'll get a reduced share, and the schools that want to make more money and be an irrelevant conference are going to be talking to Brett Yormark and going to the Big 12. That's just my. Now, it might not happen next year, but I think in years, I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's just kind of where I was feeling about it too. My thought was that maybe, and I think that the G5 that they help themselves if they get out of this thing. Because look, what good does it do you to go and get boat raced, whatever round it is?
Well, nobody wants to do that, obviously.
Look at everybody was in love them some liberty until they went up against Oregon and got flamed.
Yeah, no, it's Liberty Flames. That's funny. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. At the end of the day, though, let's play these games on the football field and quit debating them.
I agree with that.
Put these teams together and start winning and losing some games. Then we can actually start talking about legacies, Yeah. Up till now, even a 14 playoff, there were some really good teams that have been left out the last few years.
No doubt.
Noise. And I mean, Georgia last year, I still think was the best team in the country. So anyway, it doesn't really matter. 18
5G. That G5 spot will be mostly in the American champ. The American is not really a great conference anymore.
Well, Boise State,
They keep losing all their big boys.
Yeah, I think Boise State is the best G5 right now.
Boise, and then San Diego State is still really good too, and they got a good coach that just came in. So
I don't know about San Diego State, but I do know about Boise. So
yeah, Boise's always been good, man.
They've had a couple down years,
but they've had some down years lately. Yeah, No, and I think that when you look at Sean Lewis got the job there, he did really good at he's been one of those offensive dudes. But I've been saying this a lot lately is that I know everybody falls in love with these offensive guru guys that they don't win shit though.
Yeah, I'd rather have a defensive coach every day, but that's just me.
Every day, twice on Sunday, I'll take a defensive.
My Seahawks got themselves a defensive coach, so I'm happy about that.
Hey, man, yeah. Risky, tell everybody how to find you, man, before we get out of here.
You can't.
You're muted.
Yeah, I'm muted.
Every time, man. Every single time. Well, I'm Brent Sharp of the Sharpshooters Podcast. You can catch me and the guys every Wednesday. I dropped a video. We about to start doing live videos.
Yeah.
Very, very soon. So this is about to be very, very entertaining.
Still waiting on my invite. Damn.
Hey, man, you always invited now. And especially, I really want to wait till the portal open back up. That's when it's really going to be interesting. But yeah, man, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We on the road to 500. Definitely trying to hit that before my baby's first birthday, which is the 16th. So
hey,
so y'all need
how many way are you at this point? How many you got left?
417.
Okay.
So
We need
well,
73.
yeah, 73. Where my math at?
73.
Yeah, 73.
73 subs, folks. Get over there and do that. Share it with your friends that love college football. He's got a great show. They talk a lot of barbershop talk, basketball too, if you like NBA stuff. Look, I love the show. So get over there. Let's help him get there. And hey, baby girl about to turn 1.
Oh yeah, man. First
Getting
shot.
bigger all the time, man. She's about to wear you right out.
And this close to walking, and then it's over.
Oh, it's your ass then.
Now, trust me, man. I've been hearing because all she doing is just grabbing stuff, and I'm like, my God, man.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, everything goes right in their mouth.
Scary.
Trust me.
Such a tough age.
I think I can say this. I don't think my wife gonna watch it, but man, she had the charger cord in her mouth. I was throwing something in the trash, and she had the charger cord in her mouth for a second.
Boy.
I had to snatch it out so fast.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, guys. Yeah, hey man, we appreciate you coming in. We want you to be a part of this show a lot, man. We want as many SEC creators to be a part of the SEC No Cap SEC show. So expect to be on here more and more. You're welcome to it anytime, man. Thanks a lot for joining us, though.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate it always.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Y'all hold it down.
Brinsky, Sharpshooter Podcast. Make sure you guys get over there and check out his channel. Bomber, you guys have been busy too, man. I've been noticing. I love you guys' show as well. Again, nobody keeps up with realignment the way you guys do and the business side of college football. It's definitely.
We're trying, There's always stuff going on. The big thing right now is avoiding all this misreporting. After any little leak, people are just running out there and posting everything. And
this is what you have to be very careful about with YouTube. I tell these guys that all the time: is don't get that knee-jerk reaction from something somebody says or speculates about.
Right.
You better give it a minute. I've gotten to where I don't even necessarily put anything out right away because I'm not positive on what it means yet.
Right. Well, and you also have to question who the person is that's saying it.
Correct.
You have to make sure that they're, they normally are on top of what they're. Some people are just piping up and making crap up, and you don't want to be reporting on that stuff. So, yeah, it's been good though. We appreciate your support.
Love the show, man. Love the show a lot, man. And thanks for coming in tonight and kind of walking us through some of that too. I mean, my feeling is I still feel like a lot of it's up in the air. No, we don't really know where they're headed with it. Like you said when you came in, it's a lot of speculation, leaking this, leaking that.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just kind of like politics. Certain things get leaked because they want a certain outcome, and it may force this or that. So who's to say where it's going to be at? But my thing is I think that in the end, you're going to figure out. I mean, you're going to start seeing where it's going, but I think you're going to have to see the first couple of years of this before you really nail down how it's going to go anyway.
Yeah, unless something changes like on the money side, that could sort of force change.
Right.
But everybody just needs to keep watching Florida State. After Florida State moves, and they are moving, they're gone. Probably the Big Ten. That's what I'm hearing.
So are they buying that out? Are they going to end up buying that out, or was that kind of a power move by the ACC to say, okay, well, offer us something?
No, that's a desperate move by the ACC. The ACC knows they're in trouble. There's several things that Florida State and FSU have on them, and that was an out that always was there. They could have written a check to get out
a while back,
5 years ago. That's not new. Yeah. So it's funny that they release it like it's a big leak when actually that was always an option. But nobody's going to write a $500 million check to leave. That's ridiculous. So, yeah, I keep telling Florida State creators they need to take ACC to the woodshed. Absolutely take them out to dry. And I don't want them to pay anything. I think they should be able to get out for nothing.
Yeah, it seems like that there was enough stupid things that they did
There's a bunch of them. Yeah.
that
Well,
they just didn't dot their I's and cross their T's, right? On a lot of little weird things.
No, they did not follow process at all. At least Florida process. The other thing is that I don't know if you saw this. You were on your show, but today ESPN countersued Florida State or jumped in on the ACC suit.
I didn't see that.
And basically said, what you're doing is selling trade secrets or sharing trade secrets, which is against the law, and it's a felony, and you're breaking the law. They actually said that in this legal document. And I talked to lawyers up and down, and every lawyer says it is actually illegal to accuse somebody of a felony on a civil charge. So it's actually ESPN that broke the law.
What are they doing?
They're desperate, Jason. They are absolutely
Bob
desperate.
Iger lost his damn mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Elon Musk needs to write a check and say, take these guys to school.
I'm starting to think that that's going on too, because I mean, you saw where he jumped in and he's paying for that. What's her name that was on the Mandalorian? Herb.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I can't remember her. Right?
Gina Carano or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and that may be his way of buying Disney.
Man, I would love that. Go in there and write a check and say, you know what, where this thing is broken, we'll just buy the thing from you. I would love that. He should have bought Disney at a discount before he bought Twitter. Anyway.
I don't know, man. He's already, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with it. But I would think that with this whole streaming thing, I think it was a big deal for everybody. I think that's probably going to be a big money maker. But I also think that probably makes it a little more attractive to the big boys. I mean, look at Apple. They're so flush with real money.
Right.
They could jump in there and do it immediately. You know?
Yeah,
I mean, you got to get Bob Iger out of there because he's just stepping all over himself.
Yeah, I don't know. I think money is actually drying up. It's getting harder and harder. That's why the contract they offered was so much less than they anticipated. So
right.
I don't know. We might be all wrong about what we're assuming, the money is in this next wave. So
yeah,
open to it.
Hey man, we'll see what happens, but I'm definitely I'm not making any major proclamations about anything, because if we know anything from the last 3 years, even
right,
the second you think it's slowing down, it speeds right up and something crazy happens.
Yeah.
And so and I mean, it's never usually, I mean, we were all calling what was going on with the Pac-12. Once they didn't merge with the Big 12, you knew the Pac was dead meat.
Yes.
You knew that was
dead. There were some that didn't, but most of the smart ones did.
Listen, I mean, yeah, I know, but I mean, we were among the ones that were like, "There's nothing else that you can do."
Right?
There's obviously, no money out there.
It's obvious to me. I don't understand where the confusion came on the Pac-12 people's side.
All that book learning didn't help much.
No, it didn't. Maybe the only
reason you start talking academics, it's all over with.
Maybe the only reason, Jason, that we could see through it is because you and I aren't so much in the book learning side, huh?
Yeah, listen. I mean, I wouldn't call myself the sharpest knife in the drawer, but
yeah, I'm pretty sharp.
I've been around there. I've been around college sports long enough that I can smell bullshit when it's there.
I like that better. That's smarter. Yeah.
Yeah. Bob, I appreciate you coming in, man. Let everybody know how to find you.
You bet. Big 12 Mafia on YouTube. Also College Football Mafia. Both go to the same YouTube page. And then you can follow me on Twitter at B12 Mafia. So B12 Mafia and follow me up.
Heck yeah, man. Make sure you guys get over there. Hey, they've got it. They're going to be the ones that are going to break it first. They've got Bob Thompson, Jim Williams is on the show an awful lot with them. I mean, these guys, the guys that are on their show are in the know guys. So, and nobody follows it as closely as this group of guys does. So happy to have you guys as one of our partners of doing content together, man. I'll have you guys anytime, any of your guys. So
absolutely, Jason. I appreciate it. Sorry, I've been so hard to get recently. There's just been a lot of going on.
I understand. Same with here. I get it.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon, Bomber.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Have a great night. We'll see you later. Peace
Okay,
out.
buddy. Bye. Nathan Bomber Brown from the Big 12 Mafia. Guys, thank you so much for coming in, staying with us for another couple of hours tonight. The No Cap SEC show. Let us know kind of what you're looking for from this show moving forward. Something we were already kind of talking about doing, Mo and myself. We'll definitely get Brinsky involved. I don't know how much Coach I is going to be doing the show with us moving forward. He's busy with his shows, so we're definitely expect him and Shotty to kind of jump in on a few here and there. But we're working on getting some more SEC guys to kind of contribute and be part of the show. I think we want to break down we want to rank some of these, the different position groups for the SEC teams moving forward. Obviously that takes, it's going to take multiple guys kind of looking at it. So I want to get, that was something that Mo and I talked about a little bit today. We'll definitely do the quarterbacks, probably the receivers, and then go by groups like offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, secondary, running back room, that kind of stuff. We want to do some of that moving forward, but let us know some of this other stuff. Who is Brinsky? Brinsky is from the Sharp Shooters podcast, Mike. Get over there and check him out if you haven't. They got a really cool show. He's an Alabama guy, but Brinsky will be a part of this show as well, an awful lot. Hey, we got a lot of connections to a lot of really good creators, man. I've said this an awful lot about Hall of Fame college football with Jason and the coaches, that we get really, really good guests. The creators that come on our show are in the know. The Unfair Sports guys are always on the show. They're great. K. Chris, the Oklahoma guys, we got a corner on that market for sure. We got PG on the other night even. Ty Hayes, which he's been super busy lately. But yeah, man, we're going to continue to, JJ, some of those guys from around the country, Bomber, we really try to bring you solid information at all times. We're not just going to throw out a bunch of BS stuff. I know that I know that the Texas guys don't really think that I know what the hell I'm talking about, but I do. Look forward to you Sooner fans. Look forward to some more OU stuff coming out. If you haven't already jumped over to our Hall of Fame Sooner Network, it's HOF Sooners on YouTube. Please go over there and subscribe to that channel as well. That is also in the description, the Hall of Fame Sooner Network. That'd be great. We're going to start moving more of that stuff over there. It's just a way to kind of help the algorithm. The easier you make it, the more they put you out there. But thanks everybody for coming in. Hope you guys will check out. Hey, if you had a hard time with AT&T today, you don't have to stick with big wireless anymore. Check out Mint Mobile. Our link right there at the bottom right of your screen. Try mintmobile.com/HOF. You can get $45 for 3 months of unlimited talk, text, and data. It's on the nation's largest 5G network as well. Get over there and check it out. That's Ryan Reynolds' company. You don't have to stick with big wireless. Get over there and check it out. And hey, it helps the show. They are one of our sponsors. Whenever anybody signs up, it obviously helps our show going through our link, but it'll also help you a lot. That's $15 a month for 3 months. It's a great deal. Get over there and check that out as well. We also would love it if you check out Devil Dogs Brew and Beans as well. Amazing coffee sourced from all over the world. It is roasted, ground, and shipped on the same day that you order so that you ensure maximum freshness at your doorstep. 5% of all sales are donated to the Wounded Warrior program, which is why I'm so excited about that. It's hofmedia.us/coffee. That's hofmedia.us/coffee. hofmedia.us/coffee. Thanks a lot, guys, for everybody coming in. We really, really appreciate you guys sticking with us this whole way. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out, and we will see you all on the next one.